It's Dr. Ron Larson. Larson spelled Larsen, good Danish spelling. These days, I'm the medical director for Optum, Idaho. Okay. So Optum is a company that has the contract for Medicaid outpatient mental health for the state. So we have a contract with the state of Idaho to make sure that Medicaid members get accurate and appropriate outpatient mental health. I am a psychiatrist, and so this is, I used to work at the VA, and I used to be in private practice, but this is my full-time gig right now.
Okay. These are just kind of, I'm just asking, before we get into the meat of it, just kind of icebreaker questions to learn more about you. How many years have you been in the medical field? First of all, I hope you don't mind my asking, how old are you?
Yeah, well, I'm 70, so
Okay.
I've been around. And 30-some years in the medical field. I was in Iowa for a number of years, but I've been in Boise for 12, working at the VA. Okay. So I was the inpatient psychiatrist at the VA, and now helping Optum with their outpatient mental health as medical director.
Okay. All right. I think I know a little more now, so I think we're ready to get into some of these questions. I only have a couple. It's not much, but I'd like to kind of talk through them with you. So obviously right now, this is just a weird time for everyone, but for kids, especially small kids, 6, 7, 8 years old, I can't even imagine what they're thinking right now. How are they viewing everything that's going on?
Well, of interest, as you mentioned, this is a unique time. It's a time of uncertainty, and particularly families. And so I do worry about children some. And so we have some recommendations, though, in terms of how to talk to children about what's going on. And so that's what I'd like to offer up, is some advice about talking to families, talking to children, and making sure that we don't make things worse to do that talking.
Oh, sorry about that if you heard that dog bark. So, so as a parent or a guiding adult in a kid's life, how should they be approaching this conversation with their kids?
Well, we actually believe there are 3 steps to start with that make the most sense. The first really is to remain calm and reassuring yourself. Children listen to your words, but sometimes they pay even more attention to your style or the way that you say it. So the way that you say something just ever as important as using the words or information. So calm, reassuring, and then, a second most important thing is really that you listen. Children will ask questions at their own level. So don't assume that their question is loaded or that there's anything special, but just listen at the child's level. So you mentioned an 8-year-old. Okay, what would an 8-year-old be asking? They're asking about sneezing. With sneezing or with covering a cough. And the third thing then really is to pay attention to what children are listening to, because they'll tell you. Sometimes they'll tell you something that a friend told them, something that's out there, but stay at the developmental level of that child. So if they're talking about playing with their friends, stay with that concept. Don't go pushing it to something that's adult. So listening, being aware, and staying at the age-appropriate level.
Now, is there anything that parents should be shielding their kids from?
Well, actually not. If you start right about this, children know about germs. So we've already taught them some of the important things already. We always say, wash your hands before dinner. Or you've been out playing outside, wash your hands. And so you build on what it is that the child already knows. So it's really important, for instance, to say, hey, but there are more germs out there these days, so let's wash our hands for 20 seconds. And so sing happy birthday or teach them a way to manage that. And if that works for them, that's all they need. They also need to know, as they've been taught already, to cough into their elbow, to stay away from people that appear to be sick. And guess what? Children already know some of the real basics that we're having to learn as adults.
Yeah, adults are really having to get on board with that now. So
then,
it's adults too.
Yeah, of interest, then it gives us all a sense of control. As adults, we feel out of control, but giving children a sense of control is that if they sneeze into their elbow or if they stay away from sick people, then they feel like they can have some control of their life, and that actually decreases the anxiety or the fearfulness. So going back to the beginning, though, the way that we talk about it is every bit as important as what we say.
Now, Dr. Larson, I don't know if you feel comfortable with answering this question, but um, these have had real world, or the coronavirus has had real world effects on everybody, and many parents are probably losing their jobs. How should parents talk to their kids about that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, I think that that's the case. If you start with a little bit about the germ part or something that child knows about, then you can build on it if the child has a specific question. So if the question, for instance, is, hey, Dad, you don't go to work, you work from home. And staying open, though, about that would be to say, hey, I think that's a pretty good thing. What do you think? And then pushing it back to the child. Because some children will say, it's the best day ever. Or, no, Dad, I wish you'd really go back to work. And leave it at just at that level. Try not to explain all of the details of the economy, but how is the child feeling about it? And if the child says, man, I love it that you're home a lot. Okay, that's the end of the conversation. There you go.
But if a kid's a little older, say a teenager, they might be able to handle some of that stuff.
They sure can, because they're going to say, why can't we go to out to dinner, for instance, and a question like that. I want to go to McDonald's. Why can't we go to McDonald's? And so I think you still start with the age-appropriate comment of ways of staying safe, that this is a special time, and we're all supposed to stay safe as a family. But we'll make those decisions together as a family about how do we keep our family safe. Idaho, we're all about families here in Idaho. And so if each family has their own style, or parents say that in a way that's best for the family, children can accept it at almost any level.
Now, you told me you've been in the medical field for a little over 30 years, maybe a little more than that. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, this is unique for all of us. It's anxiety provoking. It makes us wonder what's going to happen. And yet, from a mental health standpoint, remember, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. Right. It's really important for us to pay attention to how we go about handling it. Our advice is still the same, though. On a daily basis, you need to balance in your life, so as adults and as families, eating healthily, going out and doing some exercise in a safe kind of way, and getting good sleep. So our advice hasn't changed. It seems a lot more important now than it did before to stay safe.
Dr. Larson, is there anything else that I didn't touch on that you want to share?
I think it's important to recognize that we're all in it together. One of our strengths is that as Idahoans and people in families, when we do it together. So talking to loved ones, to FaceTime like this with friends and grandchildren and loved ones, and recognize that we're all doing it together, it adds to strength, particularly for families, but especially for children. Oh, okay, I guess we're all doing this together. This is okay because we are together.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Unless you have anything else, I think that's it on my end.
Oh, I think it's good questions. It's really important for families to feel that they're secure and that the parents can offer up some simple solutions that keep us feeling safe.
Awesome. So just keep it simple.
That's probably the best advice. Thanks.
That's a proverb, I think. But
I think there are letters around that or something.
Yeah. Kiss, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, the stupid on the end isn't necessary, but
No, we're being smart these days because we want to come out the other side of it being happier and healthier.
Okay.
And we can. Have a good day.
You too, Dr. Larson. Thank you.
Take care.